Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Mahoning Valley Racecourse here on Monday. It is the 21st of November 2022. Gonna look at the stakes races on the program from Mahoning, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. This is always one of my favorite cards of the year from Mahoning. This year they extended it with some more stakes races, but that Steel Valley Sprint is always a good race. So we're gonna look at that on all the other races 5 through 9. So let's get to it right now. The fifth race, it's the First Lady Stakes. It's going for a $75,000 purse. Race for 3-year-old filly statebreds. Field of 5 horses going to the main track. The distance of ground of 1,200 meters, or the distance of ground of 6 furlongs on the Mahoning main track. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs here in the First Lady. And if you like sprint racing, this is the card for you. All these races seem like all the stakes races are sprint races. But my top selection here, I'm going to go with the 4-horse Leonistic. I'm going to go 4-1-5-2 in the superfecta, 4-1-5-2 super. Top selection of 4-horse Leonistic. This, as the wire flies out, this 3-year-old filly by Animal Kingdom. Luis Rivera gets to mount. The horse's most recent outing came 12th of October at Thistle, 6 furlongs at allowance race for statebreds, going 40,000. He won by 1 3/4 lengths that day, and he tracked that day. He got to the front end, and then he took off clear. He was decreased margin victory late, but it was still a good race of 50 cents a dollar. Finally back to his winning ways, back to his sprinting trip, which he likes. Coming back to Mahoning, where he's run very well in the past. Stakes 1 horses shouldn't be a problem. I think he's sitting on a very good run. 2 back at Belterra on the turf, 1 mile and off 25 claimer for statebreds. He finished second by 4 lengths that day. He was setting the pace early on, but then he just completely crumbled. He couldn't keep up with the better horses there. And then prior to that, the Tomboy at Belterra, mile 16th off the turf on the mud, finished 4th by 8 1/4 lengths that day, and just wasn't staying the routing trip. The times the horses won going routing has been where he's gotten everything his own way on the front end, like the race before at Belterra, mile 70 and allowance race 30,000. Winning by a neck. He basically went 113 and 2 3/4, which won it for him, but he was really, hitting the wall late, but he still held on. He's a better sprinter. He's coming back to that trip today, back to Belterra, where he's won over the course already back in March very nicely. I'm going to give him a shot here. To recount my selection for the 5th from Mahoning, it's the First Lady. Let's take the 4-horse Leonistic. 4-1-5-2 for me in the superfecta. The 6th race, it is the Mahoning Distaff. It's going for a $75,000 purse. Race for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds, and upwards. Field of 8 horses go to the main track. The distance of ground of 1,200 meters, if you want to go with that, with the distance of ground of 6 furlongs in the Mahoning main track. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 7 horse here, Dancing at Midnight. I'm going to go 7-5-1-6 in the superfecta. 7-5-1-6 super. Top selection, 7 horse, Dancing at Midnight. 4-year filly by Bandbox. Steve Manley trains this one. E.T. Barrett gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came in the Powerless Stakes at Hawthorne, 6.5 furlongs on the 22nd of October. And the horse finished second by 3/4 of a length that day. And he was dueling with him on the front end. Very fast fractions, 45 and 2 to the half. So they were running their heart out. He just kind of hit the wall late, wasn't getting the 6.5, but he ran his heart out. Stepping up in class to these quality horses shouldn't be a problem. Has a lot of speed. I think this horse could really have a real deal run and win today. 2 back at Fairmount, 6 furlongs on opposite 25. He finished second by 2 3/4 lengths. Again, he was on the front end, saying a little quick fractions, and then he just kind of hit the wall. It wasn't his day to win. And then at Fairmount on the mud, Seal going 6 furlongs off 25, went by 2 1/4 lengths. Changed the tactics up that day. He had a runner to stalk that day, and when he got the lead, he took off clear. A very good run from there. And then before then, the West Virginia Secretary Stakes at Mountaineer on the slop going 6. He finished second by 6 lengths that day, and he just couldn't catch the winner, who really ran better. But coming here today, training well at Fairmount, I'm going to give him a shot here, 5-2. To recount my selection for the 6 from Mahoning, it's the Mahoning Distaff. Let's take the 7 horse, Dancing at Midnight. 7-5-1-6 in the superfecta. The 7th race now from Mahoning, it is the Youngstown Oaks. It's going for a $100,000 purse. Race for 3-year-old fillies. Field of 9 horses going to the main track. The distance of ground of 1,200 meters, or 6 furlongs on that main track. I love the 3 horse here, Girl with a Dream. I'm going to go 3-7-4-9 in the superfecta. 3749 Super, top selection, and a single in the late pick four would be the 3-horse Girl with a Dream. They're fillied by Practical Jokes. Brad Cock trains. Florent Giroux gets them out. The horse's most recent outing came the 5th of March at Gulfstream, 1 mile in the Devona Dale, and the horse finished 6th by 22.5 lengths that day, and just never had anything. Had something the first 2 furlongs, and then completely crumbled. Wasn't keeping up. Something one must have won a miss because you didn't see the horse since then. Refreshing here in Ohio, getting against not the world's toughest horses, has some really pace. I think this horse could get back to the winning ways. 2 back the 5th of February at Gulfstream, 7 furlongs in the Grade 3 Forward Gal. The horse won by length, and on the front and all throughout, this horse just kept going. An all-around clear victory for this horse there. And then in the Lighter Memorial at the Fairgrounds, 6 furlongs, 27th of December, winning by a length that day. It basically got the job done very, very nicely there. And then broke the maiden, and then won before then a allowance race at Churchill, going 6th on the 13th of November, winning by a half a length, closing up from nowhere, and didn't have the best beginnings. Ever since that Churchill race last November, this horse has really improved a lot. Coming back to 6 off the bench. At 3-1, I'm going to single this horse in the pick 4. So to recount my selection for the 7 from Mahoning, it's Youngstown Oaks. Let's take the 3-horse Girl with a Dream. 3-7-4-9 for me in the superfecta. The featured 8th race now from Mahoning. It is the Steel Valley Sprint. It's going for a purse of $250,000. Race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 11 horses going to the main track. The distance of ground of 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the main track. I'm going to take the 7 horse here, Hoist the Gold. Let's go 7-11. 5-4 in the superfecta. 7-11-5-4 super. Top selection, 7 horse, Hoist the Gold. This 3-year-old colt by Mineshaft. Dallas Stewart trains. Brian Hernandez Jr. gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came in the Perryville at Keeneland. 7 furlongs on the 22nd of October. And he finished second by 2 3/4 lengths. Gunite really ran a terrific race to win that day. This horse just wasn't really getting into it. He just kind of stalked and was second best. Refreshing here with a lot of pace in front of him to close up with. I think he could really run a good race here today. 2 back at Churchill on the 21st September. 6 furlongs, an optional 125 claimer. He finished second by a half a length that day. Didn't have the best beginnings. He closed up well, but he still needs to break better there. And then 3rd of September, Saratoga, 6 furlongs off 62. He finished second by 3.5 lengths that day. Again, he was a little bit wide, but he was really closing up well. Major improvement off the race 4, which was the Amsterdam at Saratoga, going 6.5. He finished 6 by 10 3/4 lengths, and basically facing Gunite that day, who was his nemesis this season. Lost to him 3 times in a row. Or 3 times at the towards the end of the season. He finished 6 by 10 1/4 lengths. Didn't break so well, and that cost him. Just wasn't keeping up with him there. And then the Maxfield at Churchill, going 7 on 3rd July. He finished 3rd by a half length. Again, Max Gunite won that day. This horse was just wide, and again, just not really running the good race. But he does better with when there's a horse towards the front end that he could close up with. I think he's going to get a lot of speed to close up with, and I think he can run a good race. 7-2, let's use him. The 11 horse Scaramouche. It wouldn't surprise me if this 3-year-old gelding by Munnings wins. Guadalupe Percado trains. Iratus Jr. gets the mount. Most recently, the Gallon Bob at Park, 6 furlongs, 24th of September. The horseman by half a length, breaking from post position number 13 to 13. Got over well from a tracking position, quickened up nicely, and just kept going. A very good race there. Prior to that, in the prep race and allowance race, Parks going 6, the horseman by 3 1/4 lengths. Again, a good buyer, quickened up nicely, a very, very good race. Has a lot of speed under him, has run well in the Mid-Atlantic region. At 3-1, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets the job also. And also Tejano Twist, another closer here. I like his win last time out at Keeneland. Going 6, and some of his dirt races, they're not bad at all. If he finds a good trip, it wouldn't surprise me at 9-2 if he gets the job done. But also, I do think his better trip might be 7, but it wouldn't surprise me if he could find the winner's circle today either. We'll use him in that late pick 4. But to recap my selection for the 8th from Mahoning, it's the Steel Valley Sprint. Let's take the 7 horse Hoist the Gold. Give kudos to the 11 horse Scaramouche and the 5 horse Tejano Twist. 7-11-5-4 Super. 7-11-5 in your multi-race. The nightcap, the 9th race from Mahoning, it's the Cardinal Handicap. It's going for a $75,000 purse. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. State breds here. 8 horses are going the distance of ground of 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the main track. I'm going to take the 4-horse More Stride as a top selection. Let's go 4-2-6-5 in the superfecta. 4-2-6-5 super, top selection of 4-horse More Stride for a colt by Midshipman. Luis Rivera gets the mount for Michael Roan. The horse's most recent outing came in the Ohio Best Sprint Stakes at Mahoning, 6 furlongs, 29th of October, and the horse won by a neck that day, and he had a dream trip to stalk that day. He stalked a quick pace, he got the turn a foot late, and he got there in the nick of time. It was an all-around good race. Refreshing back to Mahoning, where he's run very well and pass again. I think he really ran a good race. Off the bench, he ran the 4th of October at Thistle, 6 furlongs and allowance race 35,000, and he finished second by 2 1/4 lengths that day, and he was just very wide. He closed up well late, but I do think he might need the race first start in about 10.5 weeks or so. And then prior to that, at Thistle, 6 furlongs and a state bred allowance race 41,000, won by 2. He stalked another very fast pace, which was to his liking. He came home easily, 109.3. That was a decent run on that track. And then prior to that, allowance race at Thistle, going 6th, 14th of July, winning by 8. He just kept going. That race, he was on the front end, and that was an all-around good run. He finished at second in this race last year, where he just, couldn't keep up on the front end, but since then they changed the tactics where he does better from a tracking position. 2-1, I'm going to use him here. The 2-horse Dougie D'Oro, if this horse is going to win, he's going to win all on the front end. Nearly won it all on the front end last time out in the Ohio Sprint, where he finished second behind More Stride. What can you do? Just couldn't keep up there, but this horse has a lot of speed. He's training well since the last run. It wouldn't surprise me also. We'll use this horse in the pick 4. But to recap my selection for the night from Mahoning, it's the Cardinal Handicap. Let's take the 4-horse More Stride. Give kudos to the 2-horse Dougie D'Oro. 4-2-6-5 super. 4-2 in your multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.